Hello everyone, thank you for tuning into my channel. Today I'm coming to you with a video about whether the first time I met my husband was love at first sight or not. So this video was requested by one of my love, Miss Bates 69, and she wanted to know if it was love at first sight with my hubby. And it's actually a really great question because I've been with my husband for, I can say, like almost all of my adult life. I am 28 right now. It's the year 2013, and my husband and I have been together since 2005. Yes. I was 20 years old, and I was a sophomore in college. He was not in college at the time. He never even attended the college that I was going to, but the way that we met was through my best friend at the time. We were planning a Memorial Day trip to Miami for a Memorial Day weekend or a Black Beach weekend, and this was going to be the second time that she and I had gone. So we were looking to go again, and we wanted to get a big room in the hotel versus getting a small room, because for this particular weekend in Miami, it's a holiday, so all of the hotels, the rates for the rooms are really expensive. And so we figured if we could get a suite and put like maybe like 8 people in it, it would be an awesome experience. So anyway, my girlfriend found out that her friend who lived in Brooklyn, New York, was interested in going on this trip, and he had about 4 or 5 people that would possibly be interested in going with him as well. I think it was 3 guys and a girl, so it was 4 plus him would make it 5, and it was going to be my girlfriend, my best friend at the time, and another girlfriend who I was in college with. So it would be 3 of us, 5 of them, and we'd have our 8. So because I've always been the person who is like really good at organizing, they were contacting me to get the details, not only about the trip, but also like to get information on the room and the airfare, blah blah blah. So my husband contacted me, and he basically wanted to know more about the trip, and I remember where I was when he called. I was an RA at University of Rhode Island, called URI, and I was on duty in the office when he called me. So I'm on duty, and I get the call, and I'm just talking to him about the trip and all that, and we were having a great time. And I was partially excited to speak with him because I really wanted to be able to get a nice room for this trip. But at the same time, I knew that I needed a lot of people, so if I could really talk him into wanting to go, then we would get the room. So I was excited to talk with him about it, but he was a cool person, which was really good too. So we kept in contact after the initial phone conversation, partially because he needed to be able to communicate with me about the logistics of the trip, how to get the money to me so I could book the room, things like that. And then secondly, because I didn't know him really, and I didn't know anybody in this group, it would be good to have some type of relationship, so when we went on the trip, it wouldn't just be like his team and then my team, and you know, we're all kind of separate. So we decided to continue staying in contact. So we talked a lot over the next couple of weeks, and we would like text message, and at that time AIM was really hot. You remember AIM, AOL Instant Messenger? We would talk through AIM and all that stuff, and then we finally decided to meet. Like one night we spoke for hours, like into the morning, and I decided I was gonna go see him. So this is how I get into the actual face-to-face acquaintance. I had already grown, and I had fallen in like with him already over just the phone. So seeing him was like the icing on the cake, the cherry on top. I always mess up that phrase, by the way. But when I seen him, I would say that he was not my type, like at all, like totally not my type. First of all, I had always been a pretty heavy girl. I've never been a skinny person. I think I've been thin only in my adult life when I'm not with child. But I've always been somewhat of a hefty person, so I preferred to be with guys that were bigger. And at the time when I met my husband, he was extremely scrawny, like bony scrawny. Like really skinny. Not the type of skinny that, not the type of shape or size or physique that I was interested in. Sorry, by the way, my co-host is in here making noise. But, so yeah, he was really tall, which was great because I think most women actually like love tall guys. I don't know many women that are like, oh, I only like the short ones. I only want the shortest guy in the room. Like, nobody really says that. So his height was awesome. He's like 6'1" or 6'2". He had really long locks. And he had a lot of facial hair. Now, I've always been into someone who was very clean cut, clean shaven, nice fade, groomed really well. I like that. I've always liked that. And I definitely liked a more heftier guy. But he was chocolate skin. And I've always loved like chocolate skin men. Like, that's my thing. So, as far as his clothing, he was dressed really down. I would say kind of busted, depending on who's asking. But, you know, just wasn't my style. His car was run down. And that day, oh my God, he was broke. Broke. Like, I remember asking him to take me to McDonald's to get a salad. And he straight up and down could not buy that. I mean, from the way he was dressed to the fact that his whole physique and shape was not my style to the car that he was driving that was run down. I mean, he even called the car Sour Milk. That was his name for the car, which, you know, tells you a lot about the car. You call your own car Sour Milk. Most people, their car is their prized possession, right? One of the most expensive things you've ever purchased in your life when you're in your early 20s. And then on top of all that, you can't even buy me a salad or like the chicken nuggets off the dollar menu. And, you know, it was just, all of those things were kind of like going against him in terms of what would have made this the, I guess, Cinderella and the Prince moment. It was just not that. So basically, you know, like I said, it just was not what you would have expected in terms of what I felt in my mind was going to be the man of my dreams. But aside from all of those things, my husband was actually really handsome. And his personality and his attitude, it was just really good. And I could see that inside of that person who did not fit my dream physique and didn't have the dollars and didn't have the swagger, you know, and didn't have he wasn't balling, he didn't have the flashy car. Like, outside of those things, I saw that he was a great guy. Like, this is potentially someone who would make a great husband, great father, great friend. And it was all of those things that kept me interested in him. And, you know, maybe about 2 to 3 hours into that date, because it was kind of like an all-day date. I left from Rhode Island to go to New York on the bus. I didn't mention that, but that's how I got there. So it was like an all-day date. I really was feeling him, and I was very interested in being in a relationship with him, but I wasn't sure exactly where he stood with it or whatever. And, you know, if you ask him, like, about our first time and meeting and whether it was love at first sight or did he know that I would be the person that he'd be with for the rest of his life, he'll probably say something like, yeah, and that would be like the end of it. But I can say that for me, yeah, I definitely like knew like right away. And I think for women, most of the time, the person that you're the most madly in love with, you actually think that they will be the person you say to spend the rest of your life with. Just because of how we are. But I really did. I really did. And that was like 8 years ago. And like 5 years after that day, we got married. We had a child. Now we're having our second child. And, you know, in a couple of months, less than a year, most likely we'll be moving into our first home. Like, a lot of things are just coming into our life since then. So, you know, I do believe somewhat at love at first sight, but I do think it was a little bit more than just the sight. Because from the visual aspect, like I explained, I don't think that he would have been somebody that I would have probably seen a picture of and been like, yeah, he's what I want to be with for the rest of my life. That probably would not have happened, but because I got an opportunity to experience his personality and spend time with him, I got to see that there was so much more to him than just the outside and the things that we look at from the outside and the things that we use to judge people by, because now my husband is pretty much everything I've ever wanted. He's not scrawny or skinny anymore, you know, some mashed potatoes and some chicken, and he's not skinny anymore. He still does have the long locks, but he does wear his facial hair somewhat clean shaven sometimes. And his car is definitely not considered sour milk anymore. He's definitely upgraded. His cars are much better. And I don't have to worry about him not buying me a salad at McDonald's because he works and he pays the bills. So we have, you know, a lifestyle that I could not have been able to really see from that moment back in 2005 when we first met. Yeah, so once again, I'm sorry about the noise. My co-host and my husband that I'm talking about are behind the scenes making tons of noise, by the way. You see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about? All right, let me stop here because I don't think I'll be able to get much quieter than this. It seems like it's just getting louder. But yes, I welcome all your questions. Definitely leave your requests of what type of video do you want to see below. I've been making a list of all of them so that I can make sure I fulfill your requests. You want to say hi? Say hi. Say mwah. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Bye. Bye. Kisses. I want kisses. Can I have kisses? Kisses? Kisses. I love you. My flowers. No, if you touch it, they're going to crack. Tell Daddy to get Mommy more flowers. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. So please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, leave them below. And as always, I love you for watching. Bye. That's really it. So I'll show you the bomb. Let's see if I can show you it from here. This would be ideal.